Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the capsule selection. Today, we're going to talk about the perfumery note of sweet incense, or at least the accord of sweet incense. This is one fragrance accord that is becoming a very big paradigm shift in my collection. I'm becoming exhilarated and excited to add more of these styles to my collection. They are some of the best when it comes to a scent profile that is endearing, alluring, intoxicating, sensual, yet still has a great aura of sophistication about the wearer. That is one thing that I love in my fragrance profiles, and one thing I'm becoming more and more just excited to wear when it comes to my fall season wearing perfumes and fragrances. These are things that are coming into close contact with things I would put in the wearing process of tobaccos and things like that, so they come off in date night scenarios well, evening scenarios well. But the thing that make these more dynamic is that I can use these often in my day wear and in my business wear. So if this sounds like the type of content you think you'll enjoy, pull up a seat, pour a glass, and of course, let's enhance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Dry Down, the lifestyle channel where we as enthusiasts aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different aromas, facets, and nuance of scent, cigars, and wines. I'm your host, Chris. Welcome to today's experience. As I stated, we're going to get into a new paradigm shift for my collection. I'm very much sort of adorned with and adoring the effect of what sweet incense accords can come across on my skin like. Today, that was one of my choices to wear, and I want to bring this list to you guys to see what is in my collection, to evaluate it against your collection and your buying promises, and to see if it's something in my list that you may want to pick up off of my recommendation. Today, the 8 fragrances I have for you have a sweet componentry to them. Some are thick and resinous, but some are, as I stated, ethereal with that lemony, fresh, elemy style of incense. Most of these are frankincense, Omani frankincense style of fragrances, and one that I want to talk about first is the thickest of them all, but still sweet, and the way I evaluate it is over the incense and tobacco sweetness, and that is Royal Tobacco from the house of Amouage. Royal Tobacco is a scent that came with a barnfire style of just smokiness, sweet smokiness from fenugreek and tobacco scents. The thing that I learned about this particular scent was that not only did they make it a point to use Royal Tobacco as the name, but to use those names as the componentry of the scent. Tobacco was to give homage to Cuba, and Royal is to give homage to Oman, Cuban tobacco, Omani frankincense. This is one of the best sweet smelling tobacco and incense fragrances that you're going to find on the market. If you want something that has a componentry of both, you cannot go wrong with the use of Royal Tobacco. A phenomenal fragrance done by Cecile Zarokian, came out about 2 years ago and won all of the awards that you could possibly win in a fragrance category, and it is a phenomenal fragrance. Very sexy, very sweet, very endearing. It's one that goes with 20 hours of wear time. The projection is excellent, and the sillage is of course one of the best scent trails that you're going to find in perfumery. Everybody loves this scent for a reason, and it is a head turner, sexy, seductive, but it wears beautifully with the incense accord and the tobacco, which is phenomenal. Once again, Amouage Royal Tobacco. Gentlemen, next up on the list, ladies as well, you can rock this fragrance as well. This is one of those fragrances that I came upon this year. Had a headache trying to figure out if I wanted this in my collection, but ultimately one of the best choices I've made in quite a long time when it comes to elevating the scent profiles in my collection, things that wouldn't be redundant and things to explore the genre of perfumery greatly. And PIKOVAYA DAMA by the house of Xerjoff is a beautiful fragrance done, and it's done with aldehydic touches of freshness and rose componentry. But the thing to me about this particular fragrance, my nose becomes more and more intoxicated by and more subject to the sensitivity of the Omani frankincense in this one. It's nutmeg, it's Turkish iris, it's bourbon vanilla, it's very sweet from those components, a little bit of the chocolatey style patchouli, some Ceylon sandalwood. It is a musky fragrance that has a beautiful accord of incense in the mid that carries this fragrance from its powdery sweetness to its creamy and fresh aldehydic side to that very ethereal, effectively alluring incense accord. PIKOVAYA DAMA is one of those fragrances I think all you guys should get your nose on to sample how deep your content of your collection can be. It's one of those fragrances that makes your rotation just so dynamic. Someone smells this on you, it's going to be something that they did not expect on you, something that they did not expect to come off of your scent trail, and that is the intrigue that we all want. For me, Picking up PIKOVAYA DAMA this year was one of the most excellent purchases. This to me is a 4-season scent. I wore this all spring long. I wore it all summer long. I'm going to wear it all fall long. This is a gorgeous fragrance with the amount of aldehydic touches in the opening, with that incense that starts to come in and lay across the entire fragrance for me and my nose and my sensitivity to it. And that rose and lemon and neroli in the opening stays, keeping it a little bit bright in the opening. But that 30-minute mark comes in and starts to get subdued and become ephemeral off of those opening citruses. They become ephemeral, and then the excellent rose, atlas cedar, nutmeg, and coriander start to embed itself with that incense, and it comes off phenomenal. It's very seductive and alluring because of the way it comes off as a clean smelling fragrance. But on masculine skin, every time I wear this, that's what I'll say about this. When I wear this, I used to pick up the femininity of it because my nose was focused on it, because that's what people said it was going to be, powdery feminine. Once I started to wear it, my mind opened up and I saw nothing but the beauty in the spices and the incense accords in this particular scent, and I love the way that comes off of my skin. One of the most excellent pickups for me in 2024. Once again, PIKOVAYA DAMA by the house of Xerjoff. Beautiful fragrance. Beautiful fragrance. Ladies and gentlemen, next up on the list, we have a fragrance by the house of Masque Milano, and this is Mandala. Mandala evokes the green sweetness of a fragrance. Something zesty, something lemony fresh, something exudes confidence. The contrast between these and the ones I've shown you previous is greatly done by the use of a green phenolic style of scent accord when it comes to incense. But at the end of the day, it comes and it brings this sophisticated masculinity with a light sweetness, a light woodiness to it. Very green, very effervescent feeling, but it also goes into a subdued amount of calm, serenity, and spirituality smell, making it that sophisticated scent. But it always has this embedded sweetness along with it, with the accords that come across. It's rosy, slightly, you know, it has up that green phenolic style of rose stem, but at the end of the day, it's that sweet greenness that comes across with Mandala that gets it so addictive. The quality in this one is such that I wear this in many occasions in my life over the last couple years where I wanted something to just feel greatly appreciative. And that's one thing about fragrances as well. The scent profile of certain fragrances can make you feel a certain way or make you clamor to get to feel a certain way. And I wanted to feel appreciative, and sometimes when I wanted a fragrance, and this is the exact one I pulled for every time when I would go to my showcase to find out what I wanted to wear that day. Mandala has come up as one of those fragrances that really puts me at a peaceful state of mind, and that state of mind leads me into my next encounter with a great mindset, open to what I'm about to go into, with not anything hindering my thoughts and my abilities to generate leads and or business and or just tranquility for my life that day. Mandala is a beautiful scent. Like I said, it separates itself from the others in this collection of fragrances I'm showing you because of its greenness. It's very almost heady the way the greenness comes across, but it's spicy, it's sweet, it's resinous from that incense accord that just comes off great. It has two accords of Omani incense. One is Hojari in the opening, and the one is Omani, non-specific Omani incense in the mid. A beautiful incense fragrance that I think all you guys should get your nose off at a great price point. It's not for everyone. You have to be ready for this particular scent. It has that greenness, spiciness, and that woody accords along with the incense. But once you get your head wrapped around what this scent actually does for you, you won't be disappointed. Once again, Mandala by the house of Masque Milano. A beautiful incense fragrance. Yes. So y'all, now we get into the good stuff. This is the items that I really wanted to focus on. These are fragrances in my collection that come off just spectacularly sweet. It has the facets that you want in a, like I stated earlier, a tobacco style of fragrance. Now these fragrances here are still uplifting, still sophisticated, still sensual in their scent profile, but at the end of the day, the sweetness in these four that come across next are just head turning, show stopping fragrances. First off, I want to introduce you to Oman Luxury's Royal Incense. This one here, man, I was introduced to this one about two and a half years ago. I didn't pick it up until about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, but I had it on my radar for about a year. Someone kept mentioning how it smelled like one of my favorite fragrances from the house of Killian, which is Incense Oud, which can go into this list. I do have it, but I didn't put it on the list today. That fragrance is one that really harkens to giving me such insight into perfumery and the beauty of what it could do, and I love that fragrance. That is one of my top 50 fragrances, I'm sure. This one here takes that profile and just generates more sex appeal, more sexiness. Very sweet, very spicy, smoky, floral, resinous, and finally it is something that is sensual and just spiritual. it's what I like to convey in this one. These are paradigm shifts for me in my collection. These are scents that are taking over the essence of sweet tobacco fragrances a lot of times and places. I love the way tobacco feels. I love the way it smells. I'm a person who loves enriched tobacco fragrances because I'm also a cigar enthusiast. So I love that scent profile. So it's one that I attacked honestly with all fervor. But now, the way that I'm feeling some of these incense fragrances, I'm not one who was a Catholic church child. I'm one who was born in the city, not many Catholic churches, so I don't really have that resonant feel when it comes to what incense can do to smell spiritual that way. I feel it in a more of a sun and moon style of fragrances to me, one that really brings me tranquility. But at the end of the day, the sexiness of this honey-based leather incense fragrance from Oman Luxury, Royal Incense, a stunner. A stunner in every way, shape, or form. It's a beautiful, beautiful Omani fragrances fragrance with a little bit of geranium rosiness, pink pepper in the heart. The opening to make it slightly spicy and effervescent. It comes with this lily of the valley, or maybe even just a lily accord in the mid. It's sexy, floral, honey, musk, woody. It takes from sandalwood and vetiver, some ambers in this one. Nothing about this is imperfect. Beautiful scent that can be top 5 in anyone's collection. If you're looking for an incense fragrance to cover the bounds of that, Oman Luxury's Royal Incense is a gorgeous scent profile to put on your skin. So ladies and gentlemen, next up, let's get into the Tom Ford fragrance for this list. You know, Tom Ford introduces us to some phenomenal fragrances, especially in the private blend collection. Today I want to talk to you guys about VERT d'Incense. I know this is a part of a collection that may have gone out of production. They still may have a few on the market, and you know that Tom Ford does not mind bringing things back. So if you ever see this on the market, VERT d'Incense is one of the best smelling, sweet, woody, spicy, green incense fragrances that I have ever smelled. It's one that takes a lot of cues from balsams, and balsams is the other side of this realm and game when it comes to the scent of incense. For me, it has fir balsam, it has frankincense, it has pine resin, it has heliotrope, tree sap, basil, it has cardamom, lavender. So it takes its cue from a lot of fougere style fragrances with the woodiness, the woody componentry, and the slight opening, there's a fragrance in the opening of it. That's this brightness of jasmine and lemon with a little bit of bergamot. But that thing, once it dries down, you will be so impressed with this particular scent. This is a gentleman fragrance. This is one that has no real bombast about it, but it's very seductive, alluring, sweet, and green. And the incense is just whatever they use in this one. I will give Tom Ford this. A lot of times I think they lack in character for their oils that they use and try to present us with these outlandish prices. Whatever they did with this one, man, these are one of these fragrances that become collector's items, because the scent that the perfumers put together with this one is a grand scent. The incense accord is so seductive, and it's enthralling. The way it captivates you, it just puts you in a different mindset and brings you to an elevated state of mind. This one is just sweet. It could be worn in many different scenarios, from a date night to an evening out, and even something where you want to chill and relax around the house. It's just that cool. It's just that warm. It's all these facets that come in waves against each other. It's one, like I said, it's cool. It's opening with that jasmine coolness, the bergamot coolness. Some of the pine is just sweet, warm, and seductive, like really sticky sweet, the way the pine is coming across this one with the tree sap and fir balsams. A very, very seductive incense fragrance that Tom Ford, as the king of seduction, he always puts something out on the market that just becomes head above shoulders above many fragrances that came before it, and are still above many that came after. This is in the style of the Royal Tobacco, where it's that thickness, that sweet balsamic sweetness, but it still has the current of incense running through it that's just a head turner for you. And I love the way this one presents itself and smells on my skin. So if you ever get a chance to smell VERT d'Incense by the House of Tom Ford, I suggest you get your nose on it and see what it does for your skin. If the sample works for you, do not hesitate to pull the trigger, because it's a scent where the projection is phenomenal, the sillage is just phenomenal, and the transitions, how it wears on the skin and wears down, and like I said, the ebb and flow and evolution of the fragrance on your skin. You can't go wrong with the way this one smells if you want to have an incense fragrance on your skin that is sweet, seductive, and enthralling. And it is. It's green, it's smoky, it's sweet, it's rich. It is great. It is VERT d'Incense. Ladies and gentlemen, next up on the list, YSL's premier collection, CAFTAN. You're going to hear more about this fragrance the more it comes as a discontinued gem and people try to seek it out what it was. VERT d'Incense is one of those scents as well as I just mentioned, but CAFTAN, I don't even want to spray it. As you can see, this is a fragrance that I do not hesitate to use unsparingly. This is a fragrance that if you are a benzoin lover, benzoin incense, this one has that very green elemi style of incense with a very warm, sweet, seductive honey and vanilla style of benzoin. If you are a fan of things like benzoin boheme, if you are a fan of any sweet benzoin fragrance, Grand Soir, benzoin boheme are the two that come to my mind of as beautiful fragrances, and you want one that smells in that vein but has a much more beautiful outlay of incense in the mid, CAFTAN is one that you should have and should get your nose on. It's stated on the front how it has incense and benzoin accord inside of it. This is one that has a lot of musk, a lot of pink pepper, a lot of bergamot, a lot of green mandarin orange in the top notes that come across and veil the frankincense in this sweet orange candy-like scent from that benzoin, that styrax, give it a nice little bit of edge to it so it doesn't become boring. It still has a lot of profile to go through and give you a transition on the skin. But at the end of the day, what it boils down to is it is a sweet and seductive, rich, warm style of incense, and man, is it a showstopper. It's smoky, it's resinous, it's sweet. Of course, it's oriental from the styrax, the benzoin. It's phenomenal wearing on the skin, and it goes for at least 6 hours in projection like most of these La Vista Stier collections do. And it has a great dry down that just becomes sexier and sexier the more the moments go on. And when you're with your lover, this is the one that you want to wear for that particular scent on that date night, because man, that benzoin Grand Soir style, that benzoin boheme style, along with the incense, is a head turning stunner of a fragrance that I think all will enjoy wearing and smelling on anyone. Once again, YSL's CAFTAN, beautiful fragrance. So you guys say you wanted cake sweetness in your particular incense. You want to clamor towards things like Baby Cat. Dominique Ropion had no problem with introducing the fragrance for the States. This is a sexy, sweet, yellow cake style of fragrances. Nothing too gourmand. Nothing, I'm not going to put it in the gourmand category whatsoever. But if you want something sweet, thick, resinous, and smoky, this is Laboratorio Olfattivo's VANAGLORIA. This is incense and vanilla done superbly. This is one that has a lot of Omani frankincense, a lot of incense and vanilla, bourbon vanilla CO2 extract, musk. It opens with this leathery facet of saffron, along with a nice citrus burst of candied pineapple. But at the end of the day, hands down, one of the sexiest fragrances in perfumery when it comes to Dominique Ropion's hand in making a fragrance that goes with incense. He did not consider anything other than making a showstopper when he made this one. It comes off ethereal, comes off very effervescent in its opening. That bergamot and saffron and pineapple have this air about it that's just a calling card towards a simple spice and a citrus tonality. But once the mid starts to come in with that vanilla pod and that cakey vanilla pod and the frankincense, man, you're talking about sexy. It's one masculine skin. You're going to get this in like I did. I blind bought this one. I was hearing Baby Cat. I was hearing VANAGLORIA. I was saying, okay, what's the big deal? This is sweet incense. Got it in, wore it, enjoyed it, very much so enjoyed it. Didn't take it for what I was going to think it was going to be a 10 out of 10 fragrance. The more I've put into my collection and the more I've elevated my collection toward this paradigm shift, and I'm talking about the sweet incense taking over some of that tobacco essence. This one here is clamoring to the top of the list. That's why it's coming down to the last of the two fragrances in this list. This here has the best vanilla and one of the sweetest, most seductive Omani incense that I've smelled when it comes to those two as a combination. Yes, I've smelled Omani incense in different fragrances. You know, Amouage has a plethora. I have a plethora of Omani incense. But when it comes to the sweetness, very distinctive in that word, the sweetness. This is a sexy sexy vanilla incense fragrance that I think all of you will enjoy, at least wearing in a sample or decaf form, that you will endure great amounts of compliments from. And ultimately, I think you will pick up a bottle of this, because every time I wear it, it's just something about it. If someone is close enough to my skin, 2-foot radius, you know, the push is not as the greatest after about an hour, but 2-foot radius around my body, compliments. VANAGLORIA from the house of Laboratorio Olfattivo, perfume by Dominic Ripion, a great vanilla incense fragrance. Ladies and gentlemen, last on this list is one of the newest acquisitions to my collection. This is Sunforce by the Harmonist. This is a great fragrance done by Guillaume Flagini. Guillaume Flagini is a perfumer that has been popping up on my radar lately, and I'm enjoying what this young man is doing with his perfumes. This is Sunforce, and Sunforce is, if you are a person, man, and I'll tell you why. I picked this up on a day walk through Neiman Marcus. Neiman Marcus is becoming one of my favorite perfume stations to pick up scents from. I can't wait till we get the one here that's coming soon as a niche perfumery. But man, this here, the way that this is built, if you are a person who loves the style of spicy sweet cardamom and benzoin, sandalwood, and incense, it's a breath of fresh air to smell this particular scent. It's woody, it's creamy, it's resinous, but ultimately it's that spicy sweetness that flows against saffron. A nice opening of Hawaiian pomelo, sexy at the heart of it with that cardamom, incense, and honey. It has all these accords that come off functionally great. It's one that has a nice mass appeal to it, very seductively sweet mass appeal to it, but just enough of that niche differentiator when it comes to the quality of the oils and the way it has an evolution on the body and skin. So it can come off as one of those scents that has a great amount of compliment factor, something that will get anyone around you, has a scent, a nose that can pick up the scent of that sweet saffron, cardamom, and frankincense. You will be inundated with all the compliments in the world with this particular scent. It's sweet, it's seductive, it's playful, it's fun to wear, it's incensey, it's slightly woody, it's very sweet and spicy. The thing that kind of gets me with this one, and the thing that I really truly love about this particular scent, now I don't have, I'm not going to say that this is one that's anywhere in the dupe range, but it has this very reminiscent feel to De La Nuit de l'Homme from the house of YSL, but it does not smell. I'm not saying that to give you a particular notion that it smells like it or it's one that's a cheap version of something. I'm saying that to say that if you are a person that wore that scent in the early 2010s and you know how that fragrance got every compliment in the world, it was at the top of every top 10 list for about 4 years straight. It was sweet, it was spicy, it was seductively warm, it was cozy, it was transitional season heavy. Everyone who wanted to put out a list in that early age of reviewers, they had La Nuit de l'Homme as a top 3 to top 5 type of fragrance. This one here evokes that same memory, that same scent profile, that same seductiveness, and that same creamy sweetness from cardamom spice that's warm yet opening and lively, and the actual use of the pomelo, rose, and honey with that benzoin and frankincense facet. It just is a great smelling force to be reckoned with. And Sunforce is an apropos name for it. It's not one that really harkens to the overall use of the scent to me, but as far as the liveness of the spirituality of the scent, it goes great with the name and the scent profile. This is a parfum, so you need just a few sprays. I did go out of the way to spray like 6 sprays one day, and it was a headache. So I would suggest to just see how it works on your skin if you get a sample. It's parfum concentration. It has a great amount of longevity. It's tenacious on the skin the way it goes. It has a nice profile of or sillage. Not to say the sillage lasts on your skin, especially in the opening of a trail of about 2, 3, maybe even 4 feet. It does once it's on the skin. It fills a room for about an hour. It does settle down to a nice little skin bubble, cocooning you at about the 4-hour mark, at least what my nose picks up. and that carries you for the next 8 hours. It's on your skin. It's very enveloping. It's very sweet, warm oral scent at that point. I'm sure it has some sillage. I have not asked, because this is new to my collection. I have not been around to ask many, but I have gotten many compliments. Got some in the market. I got some at the dealership taking the car for an oil change, and I got some from a friend of mine where we met and ate brunch. So these are beautiful scents to wear for those type of occasions where you're just having a nice day, just a lovely day in the fall, and you want to wear something different than the norms. Sweet, warm, life-changing incense are the things to go to for me. And Sunforce is the newest one in my collection. Get your nose on it and see how it feels on your skin. Sweet cardamom, sweet incense, frankincense, honey, benzoin. Just check out the note list and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Sunforce by the House of the Harmonist. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my list for you guys today. I hope, as always, you got something entertaining and educational from this particular list. Today, I wanted to show you the new paradigm shift in my collection, where I'm leaning toward a lot of the Omani frankincense fragrances, with some rich, some warm, some light, some ethereal, some have some ephemeral qualities to them. But at the end of the day, incense is really giving me a foothold into new perfume venues, new perfume avenues, and ways to build and add to my collection. And I'm loving what that's doing for me right now. The ones I introduced to you today were 8 fragrances that had a sweet accord of incense, sweet accord that cocooned the incense. Not so much the heavy balsamic style or the sweet, spicy style. There are some in that collection that I want to show you as well. But this one here, it was about the sweetness, the seductiveness, the allure, and the contrast from that other style is what I wanted to show here. So I hope that these piqued your mind, piqued your interest, and until next time, until next video, I will see you then. Peace.